a Bible today that can be carbon dated to the time of Jesus. There's no Old Testament that can be carbon dated to the time of Moses. Islam is the only religion that says we have manuscripts and we have codexes that have been carbon dated. You know carbon dating, isn't it?
Yes.
Brilliant. Carbon dated to the... You're actually very intelligent, mashallah, for a 17-year-old.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually a nice conversation. So we carbon date to the time of the Prophet. And you now, if you had a counter argument, you would say, yeah, but where are these manuscripts located and what is the independent academic veracity of these? So no problem. Britain, would you agree that it's not a Muslim country?
Yeah.
In Birmingham, you know Birmingham is, yeah. The oldest Quranic manuscript is actually present in Birmingham.
Really?
Yeah, it's Birmingham University.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's Google it. Say oldest Quranic manuscript. The first thing that's going to come up. In fact, let's do that now.
Wait, why is it located there then?
Yeah, exactly. That's because it was discovered by. It's actually been researched and collated and stored by non-Muslims.
Yeah.
It actually shows and it proves the veracity of it because of the fact that Muslims haven't been as heavily involved as. So, okay, so oldest.
Well, I like your argument towards a greater power.
Trust me, you like this as well, don't worry.
Sure.
Trust me, you like it, you like it.
But the rest is, I believe, based on faith, which
Yeah.
is illogical in
But
itself.
trust me, when you see how handsome I am, you're gonna know I'm bringing better arguments than that. All right.
Sure.
So just to verify, I've typed in oldest Quran manuscript BBC.
Sure.
So I'm not giving my bias. I'm not indicating towards a certain website. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Search. 2015 experts from University of Birmingham discovered the Birmingham Quran manuscript. Yeah. That's Wikipedia. Now, do you go to university?
No.
Okay. Have you been to university? Okay, so in university, if somebody was here, have you been to university?
Same age.
Oh, you're in this. You're in there?
We're the same age.
Oh, okay,
I'm
brilliant.
from Yemen, I bought.
Okay. Oh, okay, brilliant. Oh, okay. You can come here, bro. You don't have to stand here. Okay, so that's Wikipedia. The reason why I asked that was anyone from university would say Wikipedia is not a reliable source.
It is.
Yeah?
It's written by university.
It's written, but it can be changed, and there's we admit we accept what our university professors have said. I'm just going to scroll down one finger, yeah?
Yeah.
Scroll down. What's the next one that's come up?
BBC oldest content. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so I've proven that, yeah?
Sure. Yeah. No,
Okay,
I
brilliant.
didn't say you were wrong.
Yeah, no. I just said that because sometimes, when you're in a discussion, people make certain claims and then they're nice claims, but then because they haven't been verified, you're like, yeah, I bet you're lying. Yeah. Okay, so that's brilliant. So that's one thing that I'm saying, look, this is one thing that is unique to Islam. Yeah, in terms of the major Abrahamic faiths, Islam is the only one that says, look, we have a manuscript which is dated. Well, now we believe this is from God. Yes, we're going to prove it, but before I even start proving it, I need to prove that source is acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been written by Gary, who's just sitting in the park and he's just given it.
Yeah, in the 6th century.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing with Christianity. People came afterwards. Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Who are they? Which John is it? There's so many Johns. Yeah, you don't know. There's no surname. It just says the Gospel according to John. Yeah. And there's arguments that he's put certain things in. You look at the old manuscripts of the Bible and you look at the new manuscripts. They don't match. It doesn't work out like that.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Yeah, the script and the preservation of the script. The Quran is the only one.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to put the ball in your court. There's 3-4 books. What would convince you that this book is from God?
Not sure really.
Think about it.
The one.
Okay, I'll give certain suggestions. If you like them, you can say, okay, that would be one of them.
Sure. Yeah.
So, loads of religions claim to have prophecies. One way to analyze would be to analyze the prophecies, how specific they are, if they came true, and how relevant they are. Would you say that?
Yeah.
That's one of the things, yeah? Okay, brilliant.
I
So,
mean, if they came true, would be the biggest one for me.
okay, brilliant. So, one of the prophecies that the Prophet Muhammad made, and have you studied a bit of history, yeah?
A little bit, yeah.
So, Arabia at the time of the Byzantines and the Persians, they were the most useless people, yeah? The Arabia. They had Bedouins, they would do the most obscene, useless, they were the most pathetic people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much so that the surrounding empires they were conquering crazy, but they didn't bother with the Arabs because they were such a waste man. Yeah, useless people. Yeah, they were absolutely burying their daughter alive, fighting because someone stole something, fighting for 20, 30 years because someone said something to them. It was absolute uneducated bums. Yeah. So then, what happened was then the Prophet, peace be upon him, was sent to Arabia, and then he was given a revelation, etc., etc. And then he made this prophecy. Yeah, at a time where Bedouins were absolutely useless. Yeah, they were poor people. Even now, if you go to Egypt or when you go to these places, when you go to the desert areas, you see Bedouins. And Bedouins are just going around with their camels. You have a conversation with them. They're not very educated. They're not like, oh wow, this person's amazing. You're not going to think that when you see them.
I used to live in Bahrain, so I met quite a
There you go. So you know what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
go deep into the desert, Bedouins, very simple-minded people. So here's the prophecy of the Prophet. Now, to keep this in mind, there's a book called Forbidden Prophecies by Abu Zakaria.
Yeah.
He talks about prophecies from Nostradamus. He talks about prophecies from I Ching. He talks about prophecies from the Mayans. You know these famous...
What's their name?
It's called Forbidden Prophecies
Yeah.
by Abu Zakaria. I can get you that book. Bro, before you go, you know Ali Dawa's table there? Yeah, behind there's a bag. Ask him for a book of Forbidden Prophecies.
Okay.
Yeah, you can grab that now, yeah?
I know you smile to Jannah, but
Yes.
what's your name?
Zishan. Zishan. So it's free, yeah? Say, can I get Forbidden Prophecies? Yeah.
Yeah, you said you're on YouTube.
Yeah. That's why I said at the start, I'm
Yeah.
a YouTuber called Smile to Jannah.
Yeah, he knows you. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So in that book, as you read it, it's got loads. It's got the founder of Scientology and the prophecies that he made. And it talks about how vague the prophecies are and how even when it comes to counter questions, they're less likely to give you that much. Now, the only way you can really appreciate the prophecy that I'm going to tell you and the subsequent prophecy, and there's a reason why I'm picking these two, is when you read that book, you're going to be like, damn, now I see why it's so good.
Sure.
Yeah. So the prophet goes, there will come a time where the unclothed, barefooted herdsmen will compete with each other to make the tallest buildings. Yeah. So at that time, bear in mind the Bedouins were useless people. The tallest house was like about that big.
Yeah.
It was made from mud, and because they were in the desert, the chance of rain is very minimal. Like it was absolutely ridiculous. Even he's laughing at that as well. That's how ridiculous it was. So there were different types of Arabs. There were some Arabs that, of course, were well off, but the Prophet didn't mention them. And then now you're saying unclothed, barefooted herdsmen. That could be anyone. Okay. So in the hadith that's mentioned, the first prophecy, Ibn Majah, that's the reference. You can check that reference out.
Yeah.
Then he was asked, who is that referring to? And he goes, it's referring to the Bedouin Arabs. Okay, fair enough. Now, that has been verified. Now, sometimes, in religion, sometimes when you mention something, people say, oh, it's open to interpretation, it depends on the sources. When you look at the Quranic explanations, yeah, when you look at the Hadith explanations,
Yeah.
all of them are unanimous. Before this prophecy even came true, you can check Qurtubi, you can check Ibn Kathir. These are the two main sources, Qurtubi and Ibn Kathir.
For the prophecy.
These are the exegesis, that means explanation of the verses of the Quran. So when somebody says, oh no, that's not how we accept that verse interpretation, that was the reference that we give. like interpretation and which book it's from. All of them are unanimous that it was the Bedouin Arabs. You're like, okay, cool, get on with it. All right, no problem, Nick, I'll get on with it. 2012, the tallest building in 2012 was in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it was the Meccan clock tower. So anyone, when you go for Hajj, or if you type in Hajj, and then one of the buildings that comes up is the Meccan clock tower.
The Burj Khalifa? Was that
No, not in 2012.
When was that?
Yeah, trust me, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
That's good. So 2012, you kind of formulate in your head already. So that's Saudi Arabia. 2012, that stood at 600 meters. Then in 2014, it was the Burj Khalifa, and that stood at 800 meters. And now, present time, there's one being built taller than the Burj Khalifa that's going to stand at 1,000 meters, and that's going to be the Meccan, the Kingdom Tower. Okay, Saudi Arabia, and then Burj Khalifa is in Abu Dhabi, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got Bedouins,
And
Saudi
Dubai
Arabia.
or Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, so I think let's just say UAE because that's the complete
the area.
Yeah. So you got Saudi Arabia competing with UAE. Then Saudi Arabia comes again. Who are these people? They are Bedouins. They are Bedouins in Arabia that are competing. Perfect. So this is Forbidden Prophecies, yeah? This is a gift.
Thank you.
It's like a £10 book, but trust me, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. So they've got the prophecies that I mentioned, and they're all sourced and everything in there, yeah? So that's one prophecy, yeah? Awfully specific, awfully on point, and it's plain for everybody to see.
Well, why not? They could have just done it because it said in the prophecy.
Excellent. Now, but the only way you can say that is if there's evidence of the Prophet encouraging them to, or if there's an ayah of the Quran, if there's a verse of the Quran, or a hadith that's encouraging Muslims to build tall buildings. No, it's actually the opposite.
Really?
It's sinful. It's sinful for Muslims to make really tall buildings.
Because it goes closer to God or something.
No. There's no reason that's given, but it's just opulence, isn't it?
Sure.
It's just opulence. I mean, why do you need to make such a big building for no reason whatsoever? Because look, here they're competing with each other. So it's not for a reason like of commerce or like there's no good reason for you doing it. It's just we're better than you.
Sure.
Or you're better than us, sort of thing. Do you see?
Yeah.
That's why it's sinful. It's opulence. Yeah, it's grandeur. So we're better than you, and that's discouraging Islam. So okay, what else? What other counter arguments would you say?
Well, I mean, I think that's really the only one.
Okay.
If it is against the thing, then why would they do it in the first place?
Exactly. Yeah, because if you're saying no, he's encouraging people, he's a false prophet, this and that, then there needs to be some evidence of him saying, we're going to build a tall building, mate. We're going to do it. Or write it down there in the Quran, write it down right at the bottom. No, none of that. Okay, now that's one prophecy.
So what led them to build the tall building?
What led them? Allah knows best what led them. Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, that's economy, social pressures, pride, whatever. Yeah, it's definitely not religion. But the thing is, the prophecy stands unhindered, clear as day. Yeah, there's no influence from the Prophet or Allah or the scriptures. It's other reasons. Why does anything happen?
When was the prophecy written?
So the prophecy was made 1400 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And did it specify any time, or just said that?
No, it didn't specify time.
Okay.
Okay.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I am. But what I'm saying is, look, there's different types of prophecies. Some are time specific. Some are specific in terms of their nature. Like, it's just ludicrous. If I say there will come a time where, let's just say in India, like the lowest class are called the untouchables. There will come a time where the untouchables will become leaders. Whoa, that's a big claim.
Yeah.
The untouchables are people they cannot, reach certain. What time's Maghrib? It's 4:15, isn't it? Yeah, I think it was around 4:15. Okay, perfect. I was just asking about the prayer time.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, so the different types of miracles, and they're specific in terms of nature. Like one's to do with time, one's to do with the nature of the miracle. So if I'm talking about untouchables, then that is like a big
Crazy,
thing.
yeah.
That's like that's big. Okay, now this is the second one. This is the one that you're saying. Okay, that's good. All right, that's impressive. Did you find that impressive? Yeah. Okay, brilliant. The tall buildings one.
A little bit, but it could have been anyone who built it.
Okay,
What about the Twin Towers, for example?
the twin towers, but the prophet didn't say that other people. He is talking about a specific
Only
group of
Bedouins.
people. Yeah, that's what makes it specific.
But at some point, it could be everyone, every single group of people who builds.
Yeah, but look. Think about it this way. Yeah, that's not the point. The point is, at that time, there's no evidence that these people who are useless,
Yeah.
that they're gonna come. There's gonna come a time in the future they're gonna be competing with the tallest building. That shows they're gonna be the richest people. They're gonna be the opulent people. They're gonna be, well known and recognized in society and stuff like that. And that's a
Yeah.
big claim to make. That's a big claim to make. Okay, of course when you read other prophecies, you'll realize, damn, that is so specific. Now, I'm gonna give you another one. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a short one.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is towards the end of the Quran. Now let's just say I claim to be a prophet. Yeah, and I'm making these big claims. And I'm like, Nick, I have just received revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this revelation it says you will never be able to hit me on the head with that book. You will never be able to do so. Prove me wrong.
There you go.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's game over now.
It is. Yeah.
Because I've received a revelation that puts question mark on the revelation, puts a question mark on the whole damn thing. Do you agree?
Yeah.
There's actually a verse now in the Quran that says that Abu Lahab, who was one of the enemies of Islam, yeah, like he was anti-Islam, that Abu Lahab would never accept Islam. Now, if you were Abu Lahab, Allah protect you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not obviously Abu
Yeah,
Lahab,
yeah.
but like an enemy. But
Prove it wrong.
yeah. So look,
Okay.
just to prove me wrong, isn't it true that Abu Lahab would say, yeah, I'll never accept Islam? I accept Islam then.
To prove you wrong.
Yeah. Then everybody will go, yo, he's actually proven the Quran wrong.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
So that's present. There's like 4 small chapters. If you look in the last 2 pages of the Quran, this is in Surah Lahab. Yeah? It says like 1, 2, 3. So there's 10 small chapters at the end of the Quran. This is the 3rd one from the end. Yeah? In case you want to check it.
Sure.
It didn't occur to him or anybody else. Somebody, let's just say he's your friend, he whispers, like, imagine if you didn't hit me over the head with that. He would have said, hit him over the head. Or somebody else would come and say, you hit him over the head. Somebody would give you the idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But nobody gave him the idea. He didn't have the idea himself. So that prophecy could have been proved wrong easily, but it was not. So that's the second prophecy. It's a small prophecy.
Yeah.
But again, it shows that, okay, something interesting here now. Now the third prophecy is this, Nick. This is where it gets
Just the
interesting.
big one.
I like this one, and I'll tell you why I like this one. It's because most prophecies are circular arguments.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this prophecy is mentioned in the Bible. The Bible said it came true. It was proven by the Bible. Therefore, it's true. But I don't accept the Bible in the first place.
Yeah.
So how do I know it came true? Give me other evidence. No, it's in the Bible, and it's like, yeah, but that is a circular argument. Like, give me somebody else who doesn't believe in your religion. Okay. So, at the time of the Prophet, there was a war happening between the Byzantines, or the Christians, and the Persians.
Yeah.
The Byzantines were getting smashed. Yeah, they were getting destroyed. Yeah, absolutely violated.
Yeah.
Now it's like odds, like like you were talking about gambling and stuff like that. You back the winner, isn't it? The person with the bigger force, the bigger air force, the bigger nuclear force, the bigger power, the one who's decimating the other one. You're like, naturally they're gonna win. Yeah, America when it invaded Iraq, people didn't say, yeah, Iraq's gonna smash America. Oh, come on, they're the biggest military might on the planet. So yeah, I mean, the only question would be like, when? How long is it gonna take? Yeah. So here, when that was happening, the Byzantines were getting smashed. The Prophet received revelation, and it's present in the Quran. It said that the Byzantines will win within 9 years.
And then they won within 9 years.
They won within 9 years.
Yeah, okay.
But then what's interesting is you're saying, okay, what about the circularity of the argument? You're saying it's in the Quran, it's proved by the Quran, okay. And the reason why I asked about history is because the best evidence that you can get is something called a primary source evidence. Yeah, somebody who's witnessed something, written it down, and then that's been carbon dated to the time and proven that it's his. Yeah, secondary source and tertiary source, they get weaker as they go along. Yeah. So what's interesting here is there was a non-Muslim by the title of Theophilus, and he wrote chronicles. So it's called the Chronicles of Theophilus. He notes down there was a war that took place at that time, and the Byzantines won at that date and at that time. So this is a non-Muslim who's talked about that event, and it's been dated, and what's in the Quran has been confirmed by an independent source. And I'll go one step forward.
Well, how long is he? 9 years is in 9 years in their time?
Yeah, 9 years. Like even as we know it.
What was written exactly in the...
Yeah, within 9 years. I can show you the primary source if you actually want to see it. Yeah, I can show you. So this was the Chronicles of Theophilus.
And he was with the Byzantines.
Yeah, the Byzantines, that they were going to win, yeah. So the point is that this will confirm that that event actually took place.
Yeah. You've got a lot of raw footage.
No, this Muhammad Hijab, he comes here to the park, he put it on his Instagram just so we could reference it.
Sure.
I hope he hasn't taken it off,
What was Instagram?
Yeah. Oh, it was so nice. I think I screenshotted it.
No, but I meant with like the 4 cameras. There's like
sorry?
a lot of footage for.
Oh no, you know what it is? There are different channels, isn't it?
Wait, 4 channels?
Yeah, they're Speakers Corner channels. They have their own channels, and they have their own kind of mission and what they want to do and stuff like that. They're not.
Do you normally come here like every week or just?
I actually can't make it every week. I come like once every. Yeah, because I'm studying philosophy as well, isn't it?
Once every year?
No, not once every year. I come like once every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And sometimes what happens, like I had to finish my philosophy paper as well. I was doing it on Hume and Descartes.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I was looking into Nietzsche as well. That's what I was interested in what you were gonna say.
I never knew how to pronounce his name.
Yeah. You know what? It's Nietzsche, because I kept saying Nietzsche, and I got told off by a few people. Then I was like, okay.
Like, conceptually, it says Nietzsche.
Yeah, it does. It's one of those ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
That I was watching it. It's a really nice BBC documentary on Nietzsche as well. It's actually free. It's on YouTube. It's worth watching. Like how he actually got into nihilism and like his father passed away and how it affected him and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he really
He went through a lot.
fully denied God. Like definitely not.
He actually relied on a philosopher. Begins with S.
Schrodinger? But that's like the physicist.
Yeah. But it begins. Yeah, it's one of the ones beginning with S. They mention it in the documentary as well, because he was like somewhat a nihilist as well, and he actually felt more connected to him, because he had an issue with how his father died and stuff like that. It was very emotional for him.
Yeah.
And then, but he couldn't back it theologically. And then when he found his works, then he took his works, and then he kind of developed that further. And then you only had one love. You know women, innit? And then heartbreak and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So he got heartbroken, and that just sent him over the edge. And then he just was very frustrated and angry with a lot of things. But then what actually made him worse, like he's actually mentioned some very interesting, like my professor, he actually said that that term God is dead is not literally what he meant. Like that's, people take that and post that out of context. That's not what he meant at all.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, what people do is they link him a lot with Nazis, because the Nazi party, they promoted Nietzsche as well, isn't it? And Darwinism and stuff like that. But that's, of course, if you go into the political aspect.
Yeah.
But you can check that afterwards, that this is an independent primary source called the Chronicles of Theophilus, who verified this event to take place. Now, and in fact, as Muslims, we say there's not a single prophecy of the Prophet that has come false. And the Muslims will put their hand up and say it's wrong. However, there is one prophecy that I've read of the Christians that is not only false, but you know C.S. Lewis?
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did he write? What did he write?
Yeah, he's very popular. He's very famous. He has written this one book. I know what you're referring to, but it skipped my mind.
Was it an Animal Farm? Was that
No. That's the famous guy. Animal Farm's written by the same guy who wrote 1984.
Yeah, George Orwell.
George Orwell, that's the one. Although Huxley, Brave New World, I think Brave New World Huxley, I ordered that a couple of weeks ago. That's worth reading.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the way who's the one that you said wrote 1984?
George Orwell.
Yeah, George Orwell. He was very dystopian, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he gave like a very, the government would force people and stuff like that. Huxley was on the other side. Huxley actually believed that people would willingly give up their rights. And yeah, like you see today, like people are rushing, like, give us, no, but wait, the vaccine, no, give us everything.
There is
and
kind of an incentive to get the vaccine.
Yeah. But even like boosters, but there are question marks, because I don't want to talk about vaccines, and because then the videos will get demonetized.
Yeah.
And, So I'm not saying anything about vaccines or anything like that. So Huxley's thing is actually quite interesting. I'm yet to read that. But coming back to this thing, C.S. Lewis said the one prophecy of Jesus that didn't come true, it's actually an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to Christianity. You will not find a single thing like that written, in Islam. Yeah. So when you look at these things like prophecies that have been made by the Prophet, that have been mentioned in the Quran, they have come true, or they have not been refuted, or they're going to come true. Like some prophecies pertaining the Day of Judgment. Yeah. Like one prophecy is this. Yeah. This is what the Prophet said. Near the Day of Judgment, the women will be clothed, but they will be naked. He said this 1400 years ago, in a desert where people will be clothed. Look, even in like 1900s, if you type in 1900s Manchester women, even in this country, they used to wear hijabs, they used to cover their hair. So, and you look at them, they're covered. You look at these older movies, they wouldn't go like that. Like it was a big thing showing skin. So the Prophet is saying 1400 years ago that the women will be clothed, but they will be naked. Now I'm going to give you an example now. Now I know you're 17, hormones raging everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even me, I'm not that old, but hormones do rage sometimes. You know, every now and then we get a spike. There's a supermodel called Bella Hadid. Yeah, from the Hadid sisters. You know Gigi Hadid, who's married to Zayn Malik from One Direction.
Never heard of it.
Okay, no problem. That's good. That's too much into mainstream media. So there's a supermodel called Bella Hadid. So Bella Hadid, a couple of years ago, and a few other models, they've done this. What they do is they wear a top, like top bit, like that top, yeah, and it's see-through, so you can see their bosoms as they're walking.
Yeah.
Are they naked?
No.
Not technically, but are they naked? Technically, yes,
Yeah.
because you can see their whole body, isn't it? There's nothing left to the imagination. Yeah, you don't need to ask the size and anything because everything's all there, dangling about. Yeah, so it's actually very interesting how specific the Prophet actually was. Yeah, music and dancing will become common. Yeah, how people will trust their friends more than their fathers, and how you see people are moving away from their parents. Yeah, and how you see they're trusting more their friends, and how families are breaking down. Yeah, families are breaking. In fact, Islam is the only religion. Yeah, if you look, this is the reason why we say, look, Islam offers what no other ism or schism offers. Because even when you look at human rights, what are human rights?
They're just like the basic.
Yeah, the basics of what you're owed, isn't it? This is my right. This is my right to do this. This is my right to do that. What about this is my right? What about what you owe other people? Why is there no human right about what you owe your mother?
Do you think that you owe your parents anything?
Oh yeah. So of course, if your mother, because think about it this way, your mother has brought you up, she's looked after you, she's fed you, clothed you, sacrificed, get up at 2 o'clock at night, yeah, sacrifice her figure, sacrifice other parts of her body, because once you've had a child, like, it's problematic to your body now, yeah. So, what do you owe your parents? You owe respect, yeah. You owe decorum. You owe, helping them financially, yeah. You owe, making sure they're okay. You know, looking after their health and spending time with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But why not? In fact, according to contractarianism, there's more emphasis to what you owe the state
And to your parents.
than to your parents.
Yeah.
More to the state than what you owe to your teacher. More to your state than what you owe to your brother and sister. More to the state than what you owe to your neighbor. And that's where Islam takes a path of its own. Yeah, the most liberalism has to offer is Kant. Yeah. What do
you mean by like?
Yeah, so liberalism in terms of morality. Yeah, it doesn't have much to offer. Yeah, in fact, in Islam, in terms of morality, it's very specific about rights of other people, your rights, rights of animals, how to conduct a warfare. When you look, even like all religions and all societies were expansionist. Okay, but look at when they were expanding. What were the rules? Kill women and children and say. But when it comes to Islam, look at the Quran. You cannot harm trees, animals, women, children. And then if a person accepts defeat, you should not be fighting that person. So there's so many rules for warfare. If there are non-Muslims living under you, Muslims have to give like a tax. Yeah, it's called zakat, a yearly kind of obligatory charity. If a Muslim is living under you, they only give the jizya, which is less of a percent. Yeah, and they give that. If you can't give that tax, yeah, you're old, you have to give that tax. If you're a woman, you have to give that tax. If you're a child, you have to give that tax. So the more, Nick, you look into Islam, the more you're like, this is not the same as the other religions. Yeah, it's completely different. It's unique, and even when you look today, which religion would you say is constantly under scrutiny, constantly being asked to change, but refuses to change?
Christianity.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so Christianity has come under multiple reforms. Yeah, it's changed so much. In fact, the one celebration, the main celebration of Christianity is Christmas. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And that's done at a time where majority of the Christians believe that that's not when Jesus was born.
Seriously?
Yeah, they don't believe that Jesus was born December the 25th. Yeah, look into this. It's completely false.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it was when Christianity took over from paganism, and they had their own things. I think it's called the different names. Like they believed they used to worship the sun and stuff like that. So they replaced that sun with the sun, like i.e. Jesus and stuff like that. And they changed it, and slowly they incrementally took over paganism and stuff like that. But it didn't make sense, because even in the Bible it's talking about there were fruit on the trees, and in December it doesn't make sense. There's too many contradictions, and majority mainstream Christians, they don't believe that. Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate December 25th Christmas. Yeah, they actually.
So when do they celebrate?
Yeah, they celebrate it later on. Yeah, and even majority of these things, they don't believe. Christianity has been changed and morphed the most.
Much. And with Henry VIII and is it Catholic?
Yeah, the separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy.
Exactly. In fact, even if you look at the Bible, there's a Roman Catholic Bible, there's an Ethiopian Bible, you've got the Protestant Bible. There's so many Bibles, and the difference between one Bible and another Bible will be books. One Bible will have 77 books, the other Bible will have 82 books. They're so different. Yeah, and look, like I live in South London. There's literally, in a space of about 3-minute walk, there's 3 churches there.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those churches believe that the other church is going to the hellfire. Completely wrong. Yeah. Yeah. And this is in South London. There's 3 churches there. This is in the Streatham area. And they believe that they're all false. So point that I'm trying to say is, even in Islam, where you've got different methodologies and different ideas and different sects, but we all have one Quran.
Yeah.
And that Quran is proven, can be carbon dated. There's prophecies and proofs in there that can be verified, can be proven from other independent primary sources, evidence that can be carbon dated logically, rationally. You ask a child, "Hey little kid, what do you believe?" That sounded a bit creepy, but you don't go to a child and go, "Hey little kid, what do you believe?" Hey. But if you ask like a child who's accompanied by their parents, so you're a Muslim, what do you believe? Every child will say, "I believe." So, okay, what's the kalima? He's saying the kalima